This is Atlas Launch Control. We're now at a mission elapsed time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, 43 seconds. And all of the activities on board the Cygnus continue to go well in preparation for the solar array deployment. But right now joining us is our Center Director, Bob Cabana, Director of Kennedy Space Center. And I think, first of all, Bob, you got to watch the launch live and up close. What was your thought as it
Absolutely,
went off?
George. I was going to ask you, do you ever get, feel kind of like secluded in the booth all the time, never getting out to see
You never
live?
get to see a launch.
I know.
I was trying to figure out the last time I actually was outside and saw one that was somehow involved in the countdown for in some way, and but I remember a long time ago, Jim Womack, who was our director of expendable vehicles, way back a long time ago when he retired, and he worked all the way back to Atlas and the Mercury days, and he'd never seen a launch. He was always in the blockhouse.
So
when he retired, he said, "This is the first time I've ever seen a launch." When he was
it was an awesome launch. It was just what a beautiful day for a launch, and the atmosphere, everything, it was great. We were over in OSP2 with the VIP guests. I miss sitting on console. I miss having something, being involved and seeing the data
because this is the
more
fun,
real time.
fun part, really.
But it was a beautiful launch. The guests loved it. Absolutely special. The first shuttle launch that I saw was mine. I never got to see a shuttle launch before I actually got to launch on the shuttle. At the time, I was the Deputy Chief of Aircraft Operations at the Johnson Space Center. And the Chief of Aircraft Operations, Joel Granny, he always flew over to support the launch at the Cape, and he left me behind to run everything at JSC. And then when I got into training, I didn't have time to get over and actually see a launch. But, I always tell folks, don't take pictures. You got to experience it. It's an emotional thing, and watching it through the viewfinder of your camera, it just doesn't do it justice. You need to feel it, sense it, hear it, experience it. And anytime a rocket ship leaves planet Earth, it's special. And this one, excellent launch today. ULA, another great job with the Atlas V and Orbital ATK, the Cygnus vehicle. Looking forward to getting the solar arrays out, but performing well, and some really critical supplies for the International Space Station.
Well, we had noticed we had some coverage from the beach, and the Canaveral National Seashore really had a big turnout today. They were able to.
I was talking to somebody, and they said the roads around KSC, it was like during the shuttle days as far as the traffic and everything with the number of people, and that's the kind of excitement that space brings. But you're no stranger to that. So, George, you've been doing this for 36 years. 33 years with NASA and 3 as a contractor, right?
No, 4 as a contractor.
4 as a contractor.
4 as a contractor,
right.
and
37
32,
years.
Yes, it's 37 years. That's
so
right. So.
Your first launch was an Atlas off Launch Complex 36, right, that you did commentary on?
I think it was an Intelsat. It goes back far, and I can't quite remember for sure, but I think it was an Atlas off 36A, and I think it was an Intelsat.
And you did all the Hubble servicing missions, right?
I did the Hubble launch plus all 5 servicing missions. So.
And you did the very last shuttle, STS-135 Atlantis.
Correct. Right.
So, I mean, you have had quite a history. And I don't know if folks know, but George is retiring. This is George's last time to actually do launch commentary live on console. And George, I don't have the gift with me now, but I just want to say thank you for all your years of service and the outstanding job that you have done with launch commentary for NASA and our nation. Absolutely outstanding, George.
Well, I appreciate that. It's so much fun. I mean, and I can't think, when I started out on my career here, I can't really think of very much that I haven't been able to do that I wanted to do, and that's what's really made it great. And it's certainly been fun. But now I've hit the point when you can't even remember what the first launch was. It's back away. I remember my first space shuttle one, but I'm not sure I remember my first.
So that was back in 1986, wasn't it? STS-28?
27. Yeah, I did 27. That was the Department of Defense mission, and put me on that one because you couldn't say anything much anyway, since it's a secret launch. So they knew I wouldn't blow that one. So that was going to be that was my first one.
So George didn't know I was going to recognize him today, but I could not let this opportunity pass. You've just done an outstanding job, and we're really, really going to miss hearing your golden voice on console during launch, George.
Well, thanks so much, and I'm sure when I'm retired and up in the mountains somewhere, when there's a launch going, it'll be hard not to tune it in some way on satellite radio or something to see it, because
it's kind of in your blood, isn't it?
Well,
it's hard to get rid of
you
it.
can take the boy out of the launch, but you can't take the launch out of the boy. So that's probably the way I'm going to be after I retire.
I'm with you. I agree.
So yeah, it's certainly fun, and but I think for me the highlight has been when I look at all the different kind of spacecraft missions, payloads that I've had a chance to work. That's really been the highlight for me, and the launch is fantastic, because that's how we get the mission going. But the mission itself, some of these spacecraft, I mean, to be within 5 feet of something that's going to another planet, I mean, to me, that is really exciting.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I was in the clean room with the Curiosity rover before it launched on an Atlas V to go to Mars, and now that thing's running around on Mars, and to say, hey, that's really cool. I'm with you.
Yeah, and so now we've got Cassini getting ready to re-enter, and I was part of that and up close with the spacecraft, and it just when you think back on the launch, you can definitely remember the launch, but then when it gets to the planet and you think, I was part of
history,
working with the test team to get that ready to go.
So you've seen a lot of change at the Kennedy Space Center in your time that you've been here doing launch commentaries and stuff.
Well, I think for me it was the change in the direction that the shuttle program eventually took, from where we were launching a lot of different things, both our NASA missions that were planetary, things that to commercial flights, launching satellites, all of that kind of thing, and then we reoriented ourselves to constructing the space station. But when you think about it, the history of the space shuttle program, it did everything it set out to do. I mean, did it launch as frequently? No. But did it do what the things that we needed to do, that NASA needed to do? It did. And I think there will be whole books written about what shuttle did.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
like there will be whole books written about the way the moon program.
Sure.
I think when you look at the diversity of the missions that shuttle did, and it was the only thing that gave us that kind of capability, and I don't know when we'll ever see that again next. Well,
you talk about diversity. One of the things that I say about the space shuttle, one of the most important contributions was it brought diversity to America's space program. If you look at prior to the shuttle, Apollo, Mercury, Gemini, it was white military test pilots with a few scientists thrown in at the end, and the shuttle opened the doors from the 5th percentile female to the 95th percentile male. And that 78 class, that first class of shuttle astronauts, there were men, women, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, military, civilian, and it was opened the door to space for everybody.
Yeah, and our international partners started participating with it. So it's just all kind of carried through to what we're doing now.
So how about the latest direction at KSC with the shuttle retired now, as we move into this, public-private partnerships enabling commercial operations, and still working on SLS and Orion to get us beyond planet Earth?
Well, I think my thought on it is the commercial aspect is kind of a logical evolution for us at this point. But if I look, if I was going to be here another 15 years, what would I like to work on? And the space launch system is very attractive, very tantalizing.
We are going. I mean, I look at the infrastructure that we're putting in place, and I look at the crawler transporter that has been upgraded to support the heavier weights and everything. I see the high bay. I see the mobile launcher. I look at the launch pad that's going to be complete here in August, and I say, that mobile launcher, that crawler transporter, it's going to roll out that pathway to Pad B. It's going to take us to Mars. That's going to be the beginning of an awesome trip, when it rolls out of the VAB with that rocket on it. That is just amazing to think that we're actually enabling that.
And, I kind of experienced that when we were first getting ready for shuttle, and we did a lot of these things to get get the shuttle ready, to get the vehicle assembly building ready. When we had our first rollout, I think it was on the 4th of July, if I'm not mistaken. But at any rate, that it's the same kind of thing we'll go through with Space Launch System. It's, I could start my whole career over again.
I can't wait. I'm with you. I can't wait. I'm not dead yet. I got a few more years left. Now I'm hanging in there. I want to see this.
Yeah. So SLS would be
George,
be fun. So
thank you for having me on console with you.
Thank you
it's
very
always
much
a
for coming
pleasure
over.
and an honor. It's one I'm going to remember. I got to speak with the George Diller. Thanks, George.
Thanks so much. So and it's been fun, for this mission, to go out on this one. Working with Orbital ATK is just wonderful, because
Excellent.
they are so oriented toward their mindset toward getting the message out that we're trying to convey about what we can do in space, and how commercial space can contribute to that.
Agreed.
So they've been wonderful to work through all the way through these ones that they've done down here at the Cape. So so I'm glad I'm going out on this one. So.
I know.
Right. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bob
George.
Cabana, our Center Director at Kennedy Space Center. And we're now at a mission elapsed time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, 30 seconds. This is Atlas Launch Control.